is an entire debate around freebies and to what extent can political parties make such promises. Sources within the Election Commission have told CNN News 18 that there's an urgent need to define what constitutes a freebie, whether free electricity, water, or they put unnecessary burden on the taxpayer and the exchequer. What exactly is the definition of a freebie? That needs to be defined. Or assistance given during a calamity is a freebie. So right now, constitutionally, legally speaking, there's no definition. The Supreme Court also reiterated that perhaps this is a matter which is best left to the policymakers. Arunima is with us on the broadcast. Arunima, what are you picking up?
So, freebies is a massive debate that has been reignited after the Election Commission wrote to political parties, asking them to give details about what is it that they propose and how are they going to fund it. Some have called it IPO-ization, like when a company comes with an initial public offer, they give prospectus to the SEBI saying this is what we propose, this is what our financial plan is, this is how we plan to go about it. So some have said that what ECI is doing is that kind of mandate for which ECI mandate does not allow. So that criticism has come. Now, what I'm learning after speaking to, functionaries who are aware of the matter is that Election Commission of India was of the view that on the question of freebies, ECI should be the nodal authority to decide. However, when the matter went to the Supreme Court, they were hoping that the Supreme Court will take a call. But just before former Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramanna, stepped down, this matter was left hanging in fire. And now, if you see, when CJI UU Lalit has taken up the matter, this is not something which is being heard on priority. This is the reason, this is the background that is being told to us as to why ECI moved. And this is a criticism that has come, that it said something in the Supreme Court saying we are not going to take a stand, but doing something completely to the contrary. So what we are being told is that this is because the Supreme Court has left the matter hanging and ECI feels this is on priority, and that is why it is asking political parties to come out and give details. Government functionaries also believe that freebies must be defined. The clear-cut example that was given to me was that if you give free electricity and free, resources away, will it not burden your exchequer? For example, Gujarat elections are around the corner. If you're going to announce free pensions from a back date, how are you going to fund that?
Arunima, speaking on behalf of the court was clearly of the view that we can't give a definition. It's the job of the legislature, form a specialized committee and figure out your definition. We from the judicial side cannot give you that. And the Election Commission didn't say much there. Cutting across to Mr. Charan Singh Sapra of the Congress Party. Good afternoon, Mr. Sapra. Thank you so much for speaking to us. On the freebies issue, sources within the Election Commission suggest that there's an inkling and the EC does want that the definition of freebie should be decided. And it's a huge political debate which is playing out in the public domain over it. The Election Commission had a very different stand before the Supreme Court of India. How do you see this?
I feel if the Election Commission wants to do something on this freebie issue, it's okay. But government should also have a consultative measure on this. That is, the elaborate consultation is to be done. Maybe government should discuss this in the parliament with all the parliamentarians of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both the houses. This needs to be discussed. And of course, democracy means a consultative process. And nothing should be, imposed, like the black law of farm law was imposed, or like the land acquisition bill was brought in by the government. It should not come that way. It should have proper discussion in the House with the stakeholders, and probably then the government can go ahead or the EC can go ahead.
On this entire freebies debate, all political parties have had something to say or the other. But I ask this to you as a responsible politician from a leading political party. What, according to you, is a freebie, and can it be defined in a country like India?
It's very difficult to define freebie. That's why I said there need to be an elaborate discussion on this. Even government needs to substantiate what do they mean by freebie. They need to classify that. So government as well as all the stakeholders need to specify and need to, जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं कि मंथन करना पड़ेगा इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा, and then they can come to a conclusion.
लेकिन सापरा साहब, सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये है कि हर राजनीतिक दल का मंथन और उनकी जो परिभाषा होगी कि फ्रीबी क्या होती है वो काफी अलग रही है. And this debate, sir, has happened in the Supreme Court also earlier. And I remember there were political parties quoted in many judgments which argued that giving television is a welfare measure and we should really welcome it. So in a country like India, which is by law and constitution a welfare state, can we really define a freebie? And I also find this entire term freebie very misleading. Everything comes from the taxpayers' money. Nobody is giving anything for free. The entire question is the money being used responsibly for the welfare of people?
देखिए, लोकतंत्र में इसको डिफाइन करना बहुत मुश्किल होगा, इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर्स शुड बी कंसल्टेड, देयर शुड बी एलैबोरेट डिस्कशन एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट कम्स आउट ऑफ इट, बिकॉज it cannot be imposed directly by the government. There is an inclination that government wants to bring in some imposition with this regard, but I feel that will not be allowed by any of the stakeholders, whichever party it is, except BJP.
All right, Mr. Sapra, I appreciate you joining us on the broadcast and getting us your views on this entire matter. Arunima, my colleague, getting us that latest scoop from the Law Ministry and the Election Commission. That and much more lined up on the other side of a very quick break. Stay tuned, stay here.